Hi everyone, welcome to the Parsi 2 TV. My name is Shweta Hunjan and here we have a special guest in our studio, that is Darius Nasimi, Head of Partnerships of Afghanistan and Central Asian Association, which worked for the Afghan community. Hi Darius, how are you?
Hi Shweta, I'm
Yeah,
good, thanks.
great. So Darius, let's start this interview with the first question, that what is the main reason and what is the main need behind the setup of this organization?
Mhm. Well, the Afghanistan and Central Asian Association was founded 25 years ago
Yeah.
after my family came to the UK in 1999
Okay.
as refugees to escape persecution from the Taliban.
Oh.
It was a very difficult journey across Europe, and then eventually we arrived in the southeast of London,
Okay.
in Lewisham. And the reason why Dr. Nasimi, who is my father, the reason why he founded the charity is to support other refugees who are arriving in a similar position that he was in when we came to the UK, not knowing how to enroll children in school, not knowing how to register in the college, how to register in the GP, how to find housing, basic fundamental things that people who are new to the UK, they don't understand how the system works, how the law and the regulation of the host society functions. So the charity offers support to people who are new to the UK to make sure they can integrate and to make sure that they can be active citizens of British society.
Oh, great. So, Darius, why you and your family choose only UK, not any other country?
So you should probably ask my father that question or my parents, but I think the reason they chose to come to the UK is because the especially London and Great Britain as a whole, the opportunities that we have in this country don't exist in other European countries.
Oh.
There is greater freedom of religion as well. There is more multiculturalism, more cultural diversity in the UK, in London. And also I think it's a very open society, open to different beliefs, different cultures, people from different backgrounds. And London, the capital city of Great Britain, is also a place where everyone around the world, they want to come here. Young people, they want to come here for university, for education. You have lots of business and investment opportunities here as well. And in general, I think we came here because we wanted a place where, especially like my sisters and myself, the children, they could grow up in a place where they can thrive and prosper. They can go to a good, the education system in the UK is very strong as well. And the language, the English language, is a very important international language that is spoken in many countries. And I think for people who want to have a great ambition and they have a great vision, then London and the UK is the right place for them.
This answer can increase the more craziness to young people for coming in UK, because you describe more UK in your this answer. So let's focus on this organization. How this organization helped the Afghan people?
So we offer a wide range of services to refugees from Afghanistan, but also to people from all over the world. So we've got English classes for adults to break down the language barriers. We have Saturday school for children to help children with their school subjects. We have free legal advice on housing, immigration, family issues. We have women's empowerment, so we run lots of women's groups to make sure that women are also active in the local community. And then we have employment support, CV development, helping refugees with finding a job, or even to set up a small business, because there are lots of people who have different skills. Some of them were running businesses back home. They have the idea, but they don't know how to start a business from scratch, from zero in this country. How to write a business plan, how to apply for a small loan, how to deal with all the legal paperwork. So how to deal with the finding a solicitor or signing the lease. So we offer one-to-one mentoring. And then we have sports activities for young people. We have a girls' football club in Hounslow, a girls' cricket club in Hounslow. And we also organise lots of events. So we organise conferences at the Houses of Parliament in London. We had a conference in Brussels in Belgium, and also at different UK universities. The reason why we organise conferences is to influence government policy on Afghanistan by bringing together politicians and members of parliament to see what we can do as the diaspora to change the situation back home. In addition to that, we also organise cultural events. So we had a summer festival at Gunnersbury Park in Ealing last year. It was a 2-day festival. The first day was for the people of Afghanistan and the second day was for the Ukrainian community, and we had around 6,000 people attending. And we have another festival this year in June at Cranford Community College.
Okay.
This year, the first day will again be music and culture representing Afghanistan, and the second day will be South Asian music, because West London has a very large Asian population, especially from India and other South Asian countries. So we hope that we can do something for that community as well. In addition to our work in the UK, we also provide humanitarian aid to people in Afghanistan.
Okay.
So we focus on improving access to clean water, distributing oxygen machines during COVID, and we also opened 2 citizens advice centres in Kabul and Pul-Khumri in the north of Afghanistan. And we are still planning to resume our humanitarian efforts there, because since the Taliban came back, millions of people are facing extreme poverty and starvation. They're at risk of starvation, and also there are some security issues for international NGOs operating there, but I hope that we can resume our work inside Afghanistan. And just one last point, we are an award-winning charity. We've received the Queen's Award for Voluntary Services. Dr. Nasimi, the founder, is the first person from Afghanistan in the UK to receive the MBE. So he met King Charles at Windsor Castle in December.
That's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and a great achievement as well for the charity and for the people of Afghanistan in the UK. And it shows how much commitment and dedication was put into this organisation. So if anyone wants to work with us or help our organisation or volunteer with us, then please contact us.
Yeah, so that is how social media can help this organization, and how the people living in this country can help this organization and help the Afghanistan refugees.
Well, I think social media is a very powerful way of reaching many people around the world, and through different social media platforms, people can promote the work of the charity, so we can raise awareness about the impact that we're having on people's lives, the difference that we're making. But I think also social media can be a good way of building new connections, making new friends, building new partnerships, attracting resources for the charity, because there's lots of people who would be very happy to donate some money or to support our work financially. So through social media we can achieve lots of things.
So what do you think about India and Afghanistan relationships?
So I think India has always been a great friend of Afghanistan throughout history. The music that people listen to in Afghanistan is in Kabul, in the capital city, Indian music is very popular. And we have, obviously we're neighbours as well. We have strong business and trade connections throughout history, because Afghanistan is in the middle of Asia, and it's a key part of the Silk Road which existed in the past. So, and then at the same time, I think in terms of the government relations as well, and the humanitarian support that India has been providing to Afghanistan for many decades now. Not just now, I know it's on the news that India has been providing aid to Afghanistan, but for the last 20 years, 30 years, India has been a key provider of humanitarian aid, and also thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of Afghan people are living safely in Delhi and in other parts of India, running their businesses, their children are going to school, they have employment opportunities there. So I would like to say thank you to the Indian people for their hospitality and for their continuing and ongoing support to the people of Afghanistan. Of course, we come from the same part of the world, the same subcontinent, and we have similar cultures, similar languages, and similar histories and civilizations as well. But both politically, socially, on a humanitarian level, in a business level as well. I really hope that India will stay as our friend in the future, and I hope that India will continue supporting us, because there are lots of young people from Afghanistan who are also studying at universities across India, and I've never heard any bad experience or any bad memories that they've had in India. And I know India is also a fast-growing economy, so this hopefully will give more opportunities for its neighbouring countries, and Afghanistan is obviously one of its neighbouring countries. But I do understand that for a country like India with a huge population, a very fast-growing country as well, there are lots of security threats. And after the return of the Taliban, the Taliban is obviously an additional security threat for India. So I hope that we can work together with you to resolve some of the problems that exist for both Afghanistan and for India, and to work on areas which are mutually beneficial.
So had you and your organization contacted any India's organization, any Indian officers for the help of this organization and for the help of Afghanistan community?
So we have previously met with officials at the High Commission of India in central London, and we had several discussions about how we can work more closely on different matters. One of them was about cultural exchange, like organising events together. The other area was humanitarian support for Afghan refugees who are currently in India, living in refugee camps. Or I remember I had a meeting with the UNICEF office in Chennai.
In India.
Yeah, have you heard the city, Chennai?
Yeah,
Am I
Chennai.
pronouncing it right?
Yeah, it's right.
So the UNICEF office there, and they told me that there are lots, I think Afghans are the first or the second biggest group of refugees in India.
Oh.
So lots of people from Afghanistan have fled to India. Some of them have Indian citizenship, some of them are in the process of applying for asylum. But to answer your question about whether we've had any meetings, no, I hope that we can have more meetings with the Indian government, with Indian NGOs, and also with Indian businesses to promote bilateral relations between Afghanistan and India.
So what do you think about the current situation of Afghanistan, and how do the international community can help?
I think the current situation in Afghanistan is very, very tragic. It's horrific. And as I was saying earlier, millions of people are suffering from extreme poverty. The human rights situation is also appalling. Women's rights is another big issue. And I mean, in the 21st century, we never thought that the Taliban would come back, because this was a thing of the 1990s. And then you had the NATO intervention in 2001. And then after 20 years, we had so much progress in Afghanistan, there were so many achievements. Girls going to school, we had female participation in politics, we had so many MPs who were women.
Yeah.
And Afghanistan was it was, in terms of reconstruction, it was developing. Civil society was building quite fast. We had thousands of NGOs operating across the country. Lots of foreign embassies and companies were investing there, and then all of a sudden, in in August 2021, you had the Taliban return back, which was very shocking for the whole world. And the current situation is very bad. There's cases of ethnic discrimination. We have women's rights abuses, and I think the biggest problem is the human rights situation.
And do you think the situation can be changed in future and after many years? Do you think that it can be changed or not?
Whether the situation will improve in the future, I think this all depends on what we can do from here,
Yeah.
and it depends on the action that people like ourselves take. If we start lobbying the world for a greater attention towards Afghanistan, because I feel like in recent years the attention from Afghanistan has moved away to other parts of the world. You have Ukraine, you have the Israel and Palestine conflict, and then Yemen, and so many issues around the world. But I think we need to continue campaigning for the people of Afghanistan. We need to lobby the British government and other Western governments that the people inside the country are suffering and that they need help from the world. But in terms of whether the situation will change, I can't comment specifically about that, because Afghanistan is a very important geographical location, and now China has its own interests in Afghanistan, and so does Russia, and you have Iran as well. So how do we make sure that the people are not suffering because of all of these because of the interests of other countries? And at the end of the day, what we would like to see as the diaspora living in the UK is a stronger relationship with Great Britain for the long term. And I hope that, I mean, I can't tell what other countries should be doing, but I hope that the British government continues its support as they did in the past, which we are very grateful for. And I hope that there will be a new political change. That the Taliban will not stay, because they don't represent the people. They are a small minority, and the majority do not want the Taliban to be in power. And likewise, you know, Central Asia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and other countries, I think everyone is very concerned about the continuation of the Taliban in power.
Oh. So let's sum up this interview, Darius, with the last question, that if this organization wished to speak loudly in future, then it focused on other communities too, or it just focused on Afghanistan community?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question, because the name of the charity is Afghanistan and Central Asian Association. But in fact, we don't just help people from Afghanistan. We have lots of beneficiaries from South America, from Eastern Europe, from the Middle East, from South Asia. So we are already helping people who are not just from Afghanistan. However, we are still quite a small organisation, and there are larger charities like Refugee Council, Refugee Action, who support people from all backgrounds. And they don't say in their name that they only focus on one country. So maybe we need to think about changing the name of the charity in the long term. But also, as the charity grows and gets bigger, as we increase our resources, as the funding grows, then there would be, I don't see any problem in expanding our support expanding our geographical coverage into other parts of the world as well. But that all depends on how much resources you have to support people in other countries and people from other backgrounds. But we are already having lots of people from different nationalities and backgrounds attending for example, the English classes. We had around 400 students last year, and 50-60% of the students came from other nationalities.
Yeah, thank you, Darius, for sharing your views. So there is a request for everyone who living in the UK and any other country, like international communities, who can help this organization so that they can help for the Afghanistan refugees and Afghanistan community, and especially for improving the situation in Afghanistan. Thank you so much.